Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we'll look at Germany's arrogance and self-inflation on a grand scale.
And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
It's titled, German Fishing Chief Orders Ban on UK Fish Sales in the EU Unless Boris Surrenders Waters. A European fishing chief has outrageously claimed that Britain should not be allowed to sell any fish to EU countries unless foreign trawlers are allowed into UK seas after the Brexit transition period has ended. Surrenders. Did you hear that? Let me say this, Germany. Surrenders is a term of war. Germany, you really want to go down that route again? Best out of 3 was won by us. Don't make it first 2-3, we'll win that as well. Seems German politicians and academics have never learnt by the mistakes they made and we fixed. Oh well, round 3 it is. Let's read. Hugh Richter, Managing Director of the Euro-Baltic Fish Processing Company in Sassnitz, Germany, said hundreds of fishermen from his own country risk going out of business if the UK stuck to its strict demands on access to its rich waters. He said fishermen in the UK understand that EU member states will not buy anything they land unless their own boats can continue to reap the same benefits they enjoyed before Brexit. Not happening. Mr. Richter's comments will no doubt anger brexiteers. No, it just makes me laugh. Who welcome Michel Barnier's decision to allow the UK to break from the common fisheries policy as the latest round of trade talks kicked off in London this week. In an interview with Germany's daily newspaper Die Tageszeitung, that's probably wrong, well that's definitely wrong, Mr. Richter laid out his serious concerns for his country's fishing industry. The 58-year-old serves as the chairman of the German Deep Sea Fisheries Association. More than 70% of British fish exports currently go to the EU. Because they have to. It's a trading bloc. We trade with each other, no one else. That isn't allowed. Unless the EU allow it. I'm sick of this rubbish. We have to sell it to the EU. That's not to say we will after Brexit, if we get the clean break we want, obviously. The world opens up to us then, doesn't it? This terrifies the EU in my opinion. That's why they want it so badly. They know with our fish we are secure and we will prosper. They would lose a massive amount of technically our money. If the EU block us, I'm fine with that. Do you agree? Just means cheap fish and chips uppers again. I've missed that. This will also revitalise coastal communities and bring back trade and money to them too. Win-win in my book. If the EU wants to be children and stamp their feet, I say bring it on. We will crush their economy if they make us an enemy. You decide at this point your own fate, EU, and we'll watch your demise from here, a free country again. When asked if this could continue after December the 31st, he said, "We demand that the British only export their fish to the EU if European fishermen continue to have access to British waters. And we demand you stay out of our waters or you won't be going home with a boat." Mark those words. I think many British fishermen have now understood that, have they? Not so. Ask any British fisherman, or ex-British fisherman I should say, and I guarantee they won't be saying any of those words. Touching on the ongoing trade negotiation between the EU and Brussels, Mr. Richter said he was not holding out on much hope of foreign agreement, and that means that we're holding out lots of hope, doesn't it, everyone? He explained after the unsuccessful rounds of negotiations, I'm rather pessimistic, as the EU are as a whole. A hard Brexit without an agreement is becoming more and more likely every day, but making a prediction is not possible. It's like looking into a crystal ball. Is it really? You're not getting the fish. Like it or lump it. On Tuesday, the EU's chief Brexit negotiator arrived at Downing Street for intensified Brexit talks with his British counterpart. Clad in a mask, Mr. Barnier was pictured waving to photographers as he headed for dinner with David Frost. And I bet he got chewed out straight away by David. He's an excellent negotiator in my opinion. Fish was on the menu at number 10 as the pair were treated to halibut, char-grilled asparagus and why do we care what they ate? Fishing rights remain one of the main sticking points in talks which have been dragging on since February. Referring to Mr. Barnier's fishing compromise on the CFP, announced earlier this week, Mr. Richter said he was unsure about exactly how it would play out. Here's how it will play out for you, German. I'll lay it out for you. They're our waters. They will be controlled by us at all times. Whether you like it or not, we will have full control of our waters. That's not to say we won't allow anybody to fish in our waters, but you will be held to a quota that is dependent on fish stocks and scientific evidence. End of. It won't be because your fishermen might be going out of work. He said, I don't know what's behind it. The final compromise cannot be read from this. And warning about potential heavy job losses in Germany's fishing industry if boats are not given free access to British seas, he said several hundred jobs are likely to be lost. There are currently 7 vessels for deep sea fishing in Germany that are in use worldwide and employ a total of around 450 men in the shipping companies. If they're in use worldwide, why do you need our fish so much then? Germany, you liars. 4 of these ships are currently mainly in British waters, and there you have it. And I bet they're mega trawlers, aren't they, as well? Now, what's my opinion? They moan about a few hundred job losses. How dare they? Should we be guilty of causing that? Okay, maybe we'll accept it a little bit. But how many fishermen lost their livelihoods, towns, villages and hope due to the EU stripping it away from us? That's why I have zero sympathy for the German fishermen, or the French, or the Dutch, or any of them. They didn't say a word as our coastal communities were decimated, did they? So why should we when theirs are? They don't deserve it. We didn't get the sympathy. I believe respect is earned. It's not given for free. But anyway, that's the end of the video. I can't stand the EU, and this fish thing really does my head in. We should charge them a fortune for any ship that comes in, so much so that it puts any fisherman out of business that does it. All you have to do would be to a couple of fishermen, and not a single one of them would step in our waters ever again without our express permission. That's how it should be done. These people think that they can still bully, cajole, harass and threaten. We are a free nation now. You cannot threaten us anymore. But anyway, let me know what you think about this on this one. Don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, bell icon, share it out, and I'll see you on the next one, everyone.